A farmhouse on the Skagafjörður in early winter. You arrive when the light is already leaving, though it is barely past 2 in the afternoon. The car's headlights catch the turf roof before anything else. That low, green-brown curve rising out of the hillside, as if the land had simply folded itself into a house. Someone built this a long time ago, and someone else has kept it standing since. Patching the sod, replacing the timber, letting the walls settle deeper into the earth with each passing year. The family who lives here left you a key under a flat grey stone by the door, exactly where they said it would be. Inside, the air is cold and still, with the hush of a house that's been empty a day or two. You find the stove first, because that's what you were told to do, and you kneel in front of it like it deserves the attention. There's kindling stacked in a woven basket, dry and pale, and beside it a few split logs of birch, their cut faces pale as bone. You strike the match. It catches on the second try, the kindling taking quickly, and you sit back on your heels to watch the small fire get going. Smoke curls up and vanishes into the flue. The stove's black iron body will take a while to warm through, but already you can feel a change in the room. Some faint shift in the air, as if the cold were starting to loosen its grip. You stand at the window with a cup of coffee you made on the 2-ring stove in the kitchen, the kind of coffee that tastes faintly of the pot it was made in, and you look out at the fjord. Skagafjörður, in the last hour of light, is a colour you don't quite have a name for. Not grey exactly, though grey is the closest word you've got. The grey of water that's given up trying to be blue, the grey of stone that's been rained on for centuries. Far across the water, the mountains have already lost their detail, reduced to soft, dark shapes. Their snow lines, the only thing still legible in the failing light. The field below the house holds 3 horses. They're Icelandic horses, stocky and thick-coated, their winter coats grown long and shaggy against a cold that's clearly settled in for good. They stand close together but not touching, facing the same direction, as if they'd agreed earlier in the day which way to face the wind. Their breath rises from their nostrils in small, pale clouds that appear and dissolve, with no more urgency than the tide. They don't paw at the ground or shift their weight, the way you might expect an animal to in weather like this. They just stand there, coats ruffled faintly by a wind you can't feel from inside the glass, unbothered by a cold that would have you reaching for another layer within minutes. You watch them for longer than you meant to. The light is nearly gone by 3, just as you were warned it would be, and you find yourself moving through the house more slowly now, settling into the evening instead of planning around it. There is a single shelf of books near the stove, low enough that you have to crouch to read the spines, and you find that someone, the mother of the family perhaps, or her mother before her, has kept a small collection of the sagas in English translation. Njal's saga, Egil's saga, a slim paperback about the settlement of the north, its cover soft and furred from handling. You pull one down at random, and it falls open somewhere in the middle, a page with a corner turned down long ago by someone else's hand. You don't read it yet. You just hold it, feeling its weight, the soft give of a paperback that's been opened many times in a room like this one, by lamplight, with a fire going. The stove has caught properly now. You can hear it. A low, steady tick and settle, the sound of wood giving up its heat log by log. You add another piece and close the little iron door, watching through its small mica window as the flame reorganizes itself around the new fuel. Later, you sit with the book on your knees and a blanket that smells faintly of wool and wood smoke pulled over your legs, and you read a little, though you find yourself looking up more than reading. Outside the window, full dark has settled over the fjord now, and where the water was, that impossible grey, it's simply black, indistinguishable from the sky above it, except for a thin band of paler colour still clinging to the horizon. The last of the day not quite gone yet. A few lights have come on across the water, scattered and small, marking other farms, other stoves being fed. The horses are still out there. You can just make out their shapes when you press close to the cold glass. 3 darker shadows against the dark field, unbothered, patient. They're not waiting for morning. They're just out there, coats gathering frost, breath rising and dissolving, as content in this black cold as they were in the grey afternoon. The stove needs tending again sometime later. You've lost track of exactly when, the way you do in houses like this, where clocks feel beside the point. You open the little door, and the fire glows orange and gold against the dark room. And for a moment that small window of light is the only thing that matters. You add a log. You watch the bark catch. You think about the family who's kept this fire going long before you got here, and will keep it going long after you leave. Who left the coffee, the shelf of sagas, the horses in the field, as if leaving you a version of home to borrow for a few days. The turf above your head is thick enough that you can't hear the wind at all, though you know it's moving out there, over the black water, across the mountains you can no longer see. In here, it's only the stove, and the hush of a house built low into a hillside, holding its warmth the way it always has. You close the book eventually, the corner still turned down at whatever page held your attention, and you let your eyes rest on the small orange light of the stove's window, instead of on any words at all. Your coffee has gone cold in its cup, though you don't mind. There's something settling about a drink you never quite finished, left exactly where you set it down. Somewhere outside, one of the horses shifts its weight just slightly, and then goes still again. You imagine the sound it doesn't quite make, a soft displacement of frozen grass, a small huff of breath, and you let that imagined sound settle into the quiet of the room alongside the stove's steady tick. The lamp beside you throws a low, warm circle over the blanket. The turned down page, your own hands resting in your lap. Beyond that circle, the room holds its shadows easily, the way an old house does when it's had centuries to get used to the dark. You could sleep here, in this chair, with the fire still glowing, and the fjord gone fully black outside the glass. You could let the sagas wait until morning, the coffee stay where it is, the horses keep watch over the field without you. That would be all right. Exactly the kind of thing this house was built to allow. If you're already drifting, that's the fire doing its work, and the horses out there keeping their quiet watch, so you don't have to. I'll leave the stove burning low, and the book open to wherever you stopped. Come find this house again, whenever you need somewhere still and dark and warm. Good night.